Hey everyone, and welcome back to What Did I Miss? Where today I'm going over a theory I came up with about what is going on in WandaVision and how it actually may tie back to a plotline from a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Looking around the internet, the most consistent comment I saw made about the first two episodes of WandaVision is, "What is going on?" We are not given any frame of reference as the show starts in black and white with a seemingly newlywed Wanda and Vision driving up to their new house. But throughout both episodes, we see that details are missing that would make this seem real, like the couple not having a wedding ring. This world seems incomplete and to be building up around them, which is why in the second episode, the town they are in, Westview, looks to be much more densely populated. There's also Wanda and Vision's behavior inside this world. On one hand, the Vision appears to know something is up, and since he is based on the artificial intelligence JARVIS, he is continually trying to process the data he sees and make sense of it. On the other hand, Wanda seems to know that something is wrong too, but keeps changing things to make it better, as if she wants this reality to work at whatever cost. Plus, the townspeople are all acting as if they are in on some sort of bigger plot that Wanda and Vision are players in. Finally, we know that at least one S.W.O.R.D. agent, Monica Rambeau, has made it inside this reality, and another, Jimmy Woo, tried to reach Wanda through a radio transmission. There are a lot of theories out there right now about what is going on, but one I have not seen involved a story from the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., probably because the show is not as popular as other Marvel properties. So, let's talk about the Marvel Universe version of The Matrix, known as The Framework. This is your spoiler warning for the first two episodes of WandaVision. You should definitely go watch them before you watch this video. First, I will go over what the framework is and how it was used on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There are many storylines about artificial intelligence on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and most notably ones that involve LMDs, or life model decoys, that are basically androids meant to look like and act exactly like their human counterparts. In the comics, LMDs are everywhere, and basically there was about a 20-year period where every time a hero or villain died, it was revealed 6 months later that it was actually an LMD and the character was able to return. On Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a character by the name of Holden Radcliffe, as well as a S.H.I.E.L.D. team member named Leo Fitz, created life model decoys in an effort to help humanity as well as their own team. But then Radcliffe gets corrupted and uses his immense knowledge to create LMDs to replace members of S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as creating a virtual reality based around a training program called the Framework. It is important to note that the MacGuffin that seduced Radcliffe is a book called the Darkhold, which is an ancient and evil book made from the Hell Dimension, where a character named Mephisto rules, and you probably have heard his name come up before. I will get to him more later in my theory. It is also important to note that before this, Radcliffe was involved in experiments to create Inhumans, which if you look at the X-Men as the Oreo cookies of the MCU, the Inhumans are the off-brand Hydrox cookies that you get at school for free. This connection could tie into mutants being introduced into the MCU as well, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Darkhold made Radcliffe do evil things without him really realizing how evil he was getting, as he was probably being manipulated by demons in the Hell Dimension. In his own words, he stated that the book held the secrets to many mysteries, including cheating death. He creates an LMD that actually replaces a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent named Melinda May, as well as one named Ida, who gains sentience and begins to take on her own plans, which include killing Dr. Radcliffe and putting him in the Framework. I know, if you can't trust an evil robot that you created, who can you trust? But before long, Ada is able to put most of the members of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Framework, and they're not even aware of it at first, but before long start to see that things are not what they should be. Sound familiar? Within the Framework, Ada takes on a new persona and is called Madam Hydra, as she is now in control of Hydra, who has not been destroyed and in fact is ruling the world in this reality. While the other people trapped within do not exactly know what is going on, as they have all taken on roles in this new reality, Ada is aware and works to keep it together. She's able to do things within the Framework to change it to her will, and also is able to use other characters' special abilities. Eventually, she is defeated when the team members remember who they are and work together with Dr. Radcliffe to shut down the Framework. And in one of the coolest moments of the show, Ada is eventually defeated by Phil Coulson, who not only returned from the dead, but at this point was rocking the powers of Ghost Rider, albeit only temporary. So, what does this story have to do with WandaVision? Well, besides some of the obvious similarities that I pointed out, there are other threads that I think tie back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. For one, I started thinking about how S.W.O.R.D. is now the replacement for S.H.I.E.L.D. And if comic books have taught me anything, that whenever there's an action that takes place, there's a reaction. So if S.W.O.R.D. is the new S.H.I.E.L.D., then there has to be a new Hydra. Perhaps not a carbon copy of Hydra, but maybe one that concentrates less on militaristic goals and more on scientific ones. I think we may have been introduced to this evil organization already in the movie Iron Man 3 in the form of a group named AIM, or Advanced Idea Mechanics. If you remember, this was the company that was run by Aldrich Killian, a Tony Stark stan with an identity complex. Ever since I saw the Beekeeper outfits in the WandaVision trailer, I have been thinking that AIM is involved in the plot, since their uniforms in the comic books look very much like beekeepers. Now in the second episode, we see this figure in a beekeeper's outfit, and he has a S.W.O.R.D. logo on his back, so that could mean that he is an agent of S.W.O.R.D., or it could be a misdirection and AIM could be a part of S.W.O.R.D. It would be poetic that S.W.O.R.D. would be rebuilt from the ashes of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was destroyed by being infiltrated infiltrated by Hydra, only to be infiltrated by another evil organization. If IM is involved, they could have taken up the remnants of the framework project from Hydra and continue to develop it. The Darkhold is one of those evil things that calls out to people, so I'm sure that there are plenty of evil people left after the snap for it to corrupt and bring back into the fold. Also, in the comics, AIM is founded as a part of Hydra by Baron Strucker, the same man who gave Wanda her powers in the MCU. If the Darkhold is still in play, its goal is to bring hell on Earth, as that is what it's trying to do on the series. Within the context of WandaVision, the Darkhold could know about Wanda's immense power and try to seduce her into bringing herself into this reality, not to mention seduce her into bringing back the Vision. Another thing that the framework was known to do is to make people forget about their greatest regret, which I'm sure would be a very tantalizing prospect to Wanda, having just lost the Vision in Avengers Infinity War. The goal of having Wanda there is obviously so that she has children, and these children could be the key to bring the Hell Dimension to Earth and Mephisto into the fold. I theorized in my episode 1 and 2 breakdown, which I will link here, that the group, the Six-Figured Hand, is working for Mephisto within this construct, and that would line up with this theory as well, since they would also want to bring hell on Earth. Also, like Wanda, Ada was able to control things within the reality, so it is plausible that Wanda has the same ability here. I also started thinking about Vision's tie again, that has 2 dots inside something and then 2 dots on the outside. And at first, I thought this was a depiction of them and their children, but now, I think that this may be a depiction of Wanda and Vision, and how their bodies are outside this reality while they believe they are in it. In another bit of irony, if this theory was true, Ada the android was created by Ratcliffe after the love of his life and the woman he based Ada's appearance on had a brain tumor and died. So like Ratcliffe, this would be Wanda bringing back someone she loved that had died. Finally, how do mutants tie into this theory? Well, we still don't know exactly how Wanda and her brother Pietro got their powers. In one of the trailers, we see what looks like Wanda back at the Hydra base in Sokovia, where and when we met her at the end of the Winter Soldier. It looks like she breaks the Mind Stone from Loki's scepter and then gets hit with a huge blast of energy. I went over this in my setup video for WandaVision, which I will also link here, and there I theorized that since we saw that her cell was back to back with her brother's cell, if she got hit with a blast of energy that gave her her powers, her brother might have got hit with it through the other side of the wall and got his powers as well. As I mentioned, Ratcliffe was also involved in a project to recreate Inhumans, and he was running around during the time of the Winter Soldier, so perhaps he consulted with Hydra on this project, or his work was used to help give Wanda and Pietro their powers. To sum up my theory and not confuse you as much as the 2 episodes of WandaVision did, my belief is that Wanda is unconscious and has been put into a virtual reality that has magical properties thanks to an ancient and evil book named the Darkhold, that when read, makes people do things that will bring about the ascension of hell on Earth. I believe that within this reality is a group known as the Six-Figured Hand, and that they are working with Mephisto to guide Wanda into creating children that will not only make Mephisto more powerful, but will also make her not want to leave. I also believe that Sword, but also AIM, are involved and will work against each other to save or corrupt Wanda. Finally, I really do hope this theory is true, because that it would really reward those of us that sat through S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, come on, we don't even know that the events that took place on S.H.I.E.L.D. took place in the main MCU yet, because they are never referenced. Having the first MCU series on Disney Plus tied back to the first MCU series would be a cool payoff for fans that have been there and watched all these properties, even Inhumans. Well, that is my theory, but you let me know, what did I miss? Am I reaching, or did I just blow your mind? I'll be releasing weekly videos on all things MCU, and if you want to get caught up on everything in MCU, I put out a video about all 25 new properties coming out over the next few years, and I will link that here as well. If you would like to support the channel, please like this video and smash that subscribe bell, and I will see you next time on What Did I Miss?